Let's talk to House Minority Leader Steve Scalise, who joins us from New Orleans, his house. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Morning. Good to see all of you.
Good to have you. It's too bad he didn't stick around until the very end, but nonetheless, a lot of people were talking this morning. He did a good job. He didn't get fired at the end, although a lot of people thought he might.
Yeah, he got to leave on his own terms and, ready to move on. And look, he served a long time there. He came back to help the Trump administration. And there's a lot to clean up within the Justice Department.
Yep.
Still is. And I think people would still like to see some resolution to a few of the things outstanding from the last few years. But in the end, he and the president left on good terms, which is most important there.
I know that you were tweeting out about Eric Swalwell. You want some answers, and you're asking Nancy Pelosi, did she know about him when she placed him on Intel? Your second question is, why is Eric Swalwell still on the Intel committee? We need answers now. Are you getting any of these answers?
No, and in fact, it's alarming. The silence is deafening right now on this Swalwell scandal, where you had a Chinese spy actually have some kind of relationship with him. A lot of people are asking, what was that relationship? How long back does it go? Reports are that it goes back to when he was a councilman, long before he was in Congress, and that the Chinese spy helped bundle money for him, actually helped infiltrate his office, got some other people in his office that were probably spies. And then he gets on the House Intelligence Committee in just his second term, which is very alarming that it doesn't happen that often, that quickly. So the real question there is, did Speaker Pelosi know that he had a relationship with a Chinese spy prior to putting him on the House Intelligence Committee? All these questions need to be asked. Well, and the bottom line is he should be removed.
The speaker said that she was unconcerned. She said that at the time, when he was in Congress, before she put him on the Intel Committee, she knew about it. And she said that the Republicans in the leadership positions in the House knew about it as well.
Well, first of all, very few people get these private briefings. The bottom line is only Speaker Pelosi puts Democrats on the Intelligence Committee. Our leader, Kevin McCarthy, is the one who puts Republicans on. So Speaker Pelosi is the only one who put him on. And if she didn't, knowing that he had this relationship with a Chinese spy and that his office had been infiltrated by the spy, that raises serious questions. But why doesn't she take him off while these answers still haven't yet been resolved? A lot of questions. I mean, we need to get resolved, and it's alarming again that you had somebody at this highest level on the House Intelligence Committee that the Chinese had infiltrated. And by the way, also raises the question: why did Speaker Pelosi back away from the bipartisan commission on China? We were working on a commission to look into China's wrongdoings on so many fronts, and ultimately Speaker Pelosi backed out. Kevin McCarthy still went forward. Mike McCall put together a great report from that commission, alarming questions that it raises about China. But why did Speaker Pelosi back away from that just a few months ago?
And how many others are on that list? Ro Khanna, Tulsi Gabbard were targeted. And Rick Grinnell, when he was DNI director, said last week, he said what he saw, it is just the tip of the iceberg. So we got to get to the bottom of it. Meanwhile, a lot of people in America need
to a lot of people.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, in America, people are watching right now to see if you guys are going to get anything done on a bipartisan level to get some aid to the people while these mayors and governors haphazardly shut down businesses and livelihoods. So I understand you got two bills. It's broken up into two bills. One's $748 billion, and the other's $160+ billion. The $740 billion you guys kind of agree on. What you don't agree on is money to the states, and you don't agree on liability insurance for businesses. So are you gonna pass anything I mentioned?
We need to get it done. And look, going back to September, we've been raising the issue of another round of paycheck protection loans just for those small businesses like you had on earlier. The heartbreaking stories where these governors are just crushing these businesses.
Well, that has 300. This bill has $300 billion for PPP.
We have money in that, and that should have been passed back in September. And for whatever reason, the speaker held that up. But at the end of the day, we need to get this done. They need to stop demanding ridiculous things like bailing out failed states. And then they were trying to give checks to people here illegally in the country. I mean, $1,200 checks to people here illegally, but no money for these small businesses. It's got to change. I hope we get this done this week. Should have been done back in September. And these governors need to stop crushing these small businesses. And by the way, it's do as I say, not as I do for these folks. Because
but Steve, what are the chances, Steve? What are the odds of this passing before Friday?
If you put it on the floor today, the things you mentioned that we agree on, it would pass overwhelmingly. And that's why Speaker Pelosi needs to stop playing games on the things we disagree on. Bring the things to the floor we agree upon. Let's help these small businesses and families.
Well, Mitch McConnell has to do the same thing.
It would get done.
But Mitch McConnell has to do the same
thing.
He has the votes.
Done. Right. Well, but the Democrats have been blocking it. They have a 60-vote requirement over there, and it seems like Chuck Schumer wants to keep holding that up. Put the bills on the floor that we agree on, and it would pass overwhelmingly.
Because then everybody would be on the record. All right. Thank you for going on the record, Steve Scalise.
Always happy to. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Don't see y'all before then.
Merry Christmas to you, too.